Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What an amazing day because I have with me two very, very special ladies that I met how many years ago? Has it been two, three? I don't know. It seems like it's been a long time.
I think it's almost two.
I know it seems like a lifetime. I am this should have happened way sooner than it did, but I'm glad it's happening now. I want to introduce to the world two of some amazing women that inspire me, that I look up to, and every chance I get, I go and see them. Miss Sally and Miss Myra, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello. Hi, Izzy. Thank you so much for having us. And yes, we are overdue. I'm super excited to go over a couple things and just share as much value as Myra and I can.
I know,
Awesome.
I'm so excited. Always love connecting with you, Izzy. You know, we always have a blast when we do. So this is just long overdue.
I love it. And it's funny because like people call me different names. And I know every time I talk to both of you, you always call me Izzy. Like someone, and it's always perfect for the people that call me that name. Because if you ever call me something else, I'll be like, what's wrong? Like, is everything okay? So I love that we have like our own code names for this. But no, for real, I am so excited to be here with you ladies. I know when we met, you two started something so incredibly amazing. You're empowering women in a world, really in a businessman world, right? And I want y'all to talk a little bit about your academy and what made you start it. First of all, let's start with the beginning.
Okay, so Myra and I have separate stories, but they are also very similar, which is one of the reasons why we connected so well. So I'll share with you guys my initial story. I originally got into e-commerce because of COVID. I didn't really have much stream of income, and I was looking for something, and that's where I got into the e-commerce space. And I didn't really know where to look. I found a couple people that were good at it, but I didn't really resonate with them. I started teaching myself and I became very successful at it. And once I learned the private labeling, I decided to scale to Amazon, which is where I found my amazing mentor and now business partner, Myra. And I went ahead and I really resonated with her. I met her actually on Clubhouse. So we were speaking on anything business. And the moment that I heard her story, what she was about, and what she did, I was like, I have to hit this girl up. So right away, I went to go message her and I told her, all right, I'll invest into your course. I learned so much from it and it had such amazing results. And the fact that we had two very similar missions to help women. We were both in the e-commerce space and we both did sales for more than 5 years. We said it wouldn't make sense for us not to team up. So after that, we created Amazon Queen Academy, where we teach women how to become successful on Amazon with private labeling.
Woo! Here's my
Yeah.
heart for that.
I love it.
No, but seriously, it was honestly so awesome the way that Sully and I kind of just immediately connected, resonated. And we've always talked about it. We're like, look, money is great. That's always what, will drive you to start a new business and build something passive. But realistically, what we wanted to do is really build a community of women. We started finding our message, our voice, our niche, and we're like, we want to make sure that other women see that if we did it too, from our very own struggles, they can start something from scratch, right from your home. I mean, the craziest thing was for my own journey, I've always said it was, I think the biggest push or struggle, at least for me, was at the moment my dad was really sick. And it was just a situation where I sat there and I thought about, wow, how much time am I dedicating sitting here in this 9 to 5? I'm missing out on my last experiences with him. At the moment, I wouldn't have known that. But he ended up passing away in 2019. So for me, that was such an eye-opening moment that I was like, this just isn't it. I started my own Amazon stores and wholesale about 5 years ago. And then literally on Clubhouse, I will never forget this. The funniest thing was Sully was on there and she was speaking. And mind you, she said, look, I could take this money and buy myself a purse or a trip, but I see the vision and I'm going to gift myself an Amazon store. That's literally what she did. 3 months later, the
For
woman
my birthday.
was $1,000 days. And I'm like, Sally, that is insane how she just took it and ran with it. And I was like, that's the type of ambition and that's the type of examples you want to set for other women. So it was literally like a match made in heaven. We had so many different ideas and it was awesome to be able to collaborate.
That's so incredible. And I want to pause and take a moment on what you just said, because this is so crucial. So Sally decided in that moment that her life will change. And you see a lot of people wait so long to do this because they're thinking, you know what, the day will come, like that feeling will come, but it never really does until you decide in that moment. There's not really a past, there's not really future. We're always in the present moment. So if you don't take action on anything right now, how do ever do you expect your life to change? Like Sally took a step, right? And she's like, you know what, I'm not gonna buy that purse for my birthday, because you want to do things for yourself. You want to spoil yourself. You want to give yourself a break, right? Because we live in an overwhelming world. And a lot of us, we turn to shopping. And it's not just women, by the way, it's men as well. It's, it's easier to just like sit on the couch or whatever and say, you know what, I'll get to it tomorrow. But in that moment, you decided that your life will change. And it was just that split of a second where you decided to invest in yourself. And then look, we're sitting here 2 years later and you girls are basically an empire for women. So tell me more about that. Like, who are the women that you are attracting, and what do you see that's maybe a common thing amongst the ones that actually take action?
I think that one of the biggest target audiences that we really go after, and again, because Myra and I's background is the 9 to 5, the woman who have been at the same job and maybe they haven't experienced life, right? They've made money through their job, but if you ask them, what they've been able to do, some women I see, want to spend a little bit more time with their kids. They want to travel. They want to have just quality time, or even, they want to do things for themselves, but they don't have the time because they're so busy at their job trying to make money. So I think that's the biggest factor. And even for myself, I'm on the opposite side where I was at a point in my life where before this, I was working so hard and I was making great money, but I was so unsatisfied. I was like, why the hell am I working so damn hard for what? I couldn't go out with my friends. I couldn't do anything. So on the flip side, it's just people who want to get paid to live, right? To create a passive stream of income so they can go out and enjoy that money on something that helps them develop themselves, or get experiences, or just have more freedom overall.
Wow. Myra?
No, and now honestly, that really hits the nail on the head. I mean, we look at women who are young professionals. Some of them just want the guidance. Sometimes we've even had the benefit of the woman who's just like, I do want to start my own business. I'm not sure if this is exactly what I want to do, but they see the community that we've built. And that's the beauty of it. It's a community because you get to see other women who have made the decision to improve their lives and are in the same journey, in the same process that you are. So when you feel alone and like you're struggling, you realize, well, maybe I'm not that alone, because there are hundreds of other women who go through the similar struggles every single day. I was literally on a call the other day and the woman was like, I just had my baby and I can't imagine not being there when she takes her first steps. I get that. I was like, I don't have any kids, but I have a sister who's 16. I didn't want to miss out on her prom pictures if I was stuck at someone else's, employment office. I'm going to sit there, wait, I have to ask for permission. It's not the same when you're exchanging your money for your freedom. At some point, we all have to do that, and that's okay. There is a moment where you will need a 9 to 5. You'll have to do that grind, but you should be able to see a bigger end goal than just that, because you can achieve something totally different. And I think that was one of the most beautiful things for me was I'm no longer exchanging my time. I'm literally present. I'm there. I get to be there for all these different events. I get to travel, come and go as I want. Like it's a very different ballgame. And what's crazy is Izzy, when we first met, when we got to meet at Powerhouse, which was crazy, we literally sat and looked around and we're like, wow, we should have more women involved in these types of events. We were only 3 in maybe a room of like 50 men.
Yeah, it was literally the 3 of us. It was incredible. It was probably even more men than that, but I remember. And we're like, what is going on? Like, I was so excited that you two were there, and it's just so amazing watching you guys from this coast to your coast and see all the beautiful things that you created. And I have a very special soft spot for women. I mean, one, I'm a woman myself, and coming from Romania all the way here and starting over basically with a new language and new country and new everything. And I wish I would have had a little bit more guidance from other women at that time, because this is something, a compass that I was looking towards. Every event that I went to, every situation, I was always looking to where are the other women. And it's almost that nobody told me to do that. It was just almost innate, because we are always looking for somebody like mentors that have surpassed us and they're doing things that we want to do. So for you to show up as that identity for women, I think it's, first of all, selfless. Like, it's so great. And yeah, of course there's money and everything, and you could have picked any other field, but you chose to dedicate your time and your passion into helping other women succeed. And to me, there's nothing greater than that. So thank you both for doing that. It's, I mean, you are changing women's lives. So what are some insecurities that you see from women coming into the space, from having their, like you said, 9 to 5 to becoming a business owner, because that's not a simple thing to do?
I think the scariest thing is, honestly, they just don't believe that it'll work. So they have that doubt of, can I do this for myself? Am I good enough to do this? What if it fails? They haven't even given it a chance, and they're already like, oh no, it's going to fail. Oh, it's going to fall apart. And that's just that natural fear that we have of change. It's really difficult to let go of stability to do something completely new. And I say stability because, to me, there's nothing scarier than just having one stream of income and realizing that I'm completely disposable at that company. That, to me, is scary. And most people don't see it that way. I always feel like you need a plan A, B, C, sometimes even D. We've seen plenty of things fall apart, and you have to pivot and be able to adjust. But for some women, not having the knowledge or the business background, for whatever reason, that's one of their biggest fears. They're like, can I do this? Is it enough for me to go ahead and actually make this investment in myself in order to push forward?
Absolutely. I have to agree with Myra. I think that a lot of it is based around mindset, right? We've only developed a certain mindset around what we had to do, for instance, for our job. And we're sometimes, if we are working a 9 to 5, we're used to someone giving us direction or telling us what to do, versus now you're taking a leap into faith, into the unknown, and now you have to be the decision maker, right? It's really getting out of your comfort zone. And a lot of it is just developing that mindset. I like to tell people we can't build a rich business with a poor mindset. So it really is a lot of mindset development, which is actually why a lot of our focus as coaches is we focus on not just strategies, but teaching mindset. And I found that sometimes you can give strategies to 100 people and only, let's say, 10 are successful. What was the difference? It wasn't like we gave these 10 people a secret sauce, right? It was just the mindset around, can I actually do this? So we put a lot of importance on that mindset.
And do you have like some type of training on that, specifically on mindset? Like, how do you help them overcome some of these insecurities?
So a lot of what we started doing is we started doing coaching calls once a week to have like a mindset. So we teach a little bit of everything different, and it all depends on what we personally do, because we wouldn't teach someone to do something that we don't do ourselves. So a lot of what we do for our students is we actually first, as soon as they enter the program, we get them on a regimen to start journaling, to get some affirmations, to start journaling what it is that they want. We also give them a time study so that they start allocating time to this new business. And we just give them structure around the mindset that they need, as well as structure in the business. So we really try to do our best as far as that goes, and just obviously being there for them, plus the community. Sometimes if someone's struggling, they don't have anyone else that has ever done what they're doing. And then if we bring them into our community, they see that there's a bunch of other girls that have never done any of this before, but they're still out there doing it. So that's a lot of what we've done is just doing the weekly calls, giving them the resources in order to get their mindset together and the community.
Was it hard for you in the beginning to start it? Like, how were you able to kind of get into this and really help all these women change their mindset? Because it's not just mindset, it's like mindset, but now you have to apply it to, now you have to reach out to suppliers. I mean, there's only so much you can do for them, to the point where they have to take it on themselves and do these things. Like, how hard was that to do, would you say?
The transition wasn't too difficult. And the reason that it wasn't too difficult, it's because a lot of people just need that little bit of extra encouragement. Sally and I have a very open door policy. We tell them all the time, don't allow the frustration to build up. Reach out to us the minute that you feel confused. There is no such thing as a stupid question. We have that open channel of communication with all of our students. They feel very empowered to actually make the decisions. And before they make the decision, the fact that there's someone else telling you from experience, yes, you've done it well, good job. Or no, we need to pivot and adjust. Let's teach you how to do it maybe a little bit differently so you get a better result. That really has impacted it. And I've seen women who go from having no idea how to run a business to completing the entire program. And they're like, wow, I'm a business owner. And not only that, the point of our program is to make you a successful Amazon seller with all the tools. You're implementing everything that we literally do ourselves. There's nothing off the table. It's like, ask the questions, look at the resources. We've developed this to make sure that you are successful. So it's not really too difficult. At first, they're a little hesitant and we'll get some rebuttals, but that's still more during like week 1 when they're still very new, they're still very afraid. But the minute they get on that first phone call and they see the group, they get the vibe from the actual, and I always say this, that energy, that feeling from the rest of the women who are in the community and actually participating on the calls, they're like, oh, wow, this is real. They start to like feel more empowered, start to feel less scared. They're a little less timid. They'll ask questions on the calls. So that's really what we've done and how we've structured it right from the very beginning. We literally give them the tools and the things that we do on a daily basis. Like, how do you manage your time? What are the activities on what it takes to actually be a successful business owner, which we feel some courses don't necessarily cover. We like to make sure that that's the very first thing that you start to understand so that then you can build upon the rest of it.
Yep.
That is so beautiful. So tell me a little bit about the structure of the program. So somebody comes in, like, how long does it take? What are some things that they're learning?
So something that we basically break it down to is we like to break it down into 3 pillars. So at the beginning, a lot of it is obviously getting yourself together for your business. So again, that's mindset, that's goal setting, that's how are you going to show up in this new business as a new person. So that's the beginning portion. Then after that, then we help people get their Amazon Seller Central set up and we help them find a winning product, right? We're starting a new business. A lot of people are like, all right, what do I sell, right? So that's one of the main things that we first start off with is finding a great product that's going to sell on Amazon. Then next is finding reliable suppliers. It's so important to have reliable suppliers that we can grow a relationship with and actually work with them long term while also getting great prices. Then the last thing is scaling and branding, which is towards the end where we help our clients get the branding done, make it amazing, beat our competition. We want to try to be the best in the market and basically make the products even better than they already were. We also work on social media. A lot of times people say, hey, I want to make a store, but I'm not great at social media. Don't worry. You don't have to come into the program with any sort of experience because we teach it all. The branding, the making the product better, and also social media and influencers. And of course, lastly, is advertising using Amazon PPC campaigns in order to really scale the business.
Myra, you have anything to add to that?
She literally, no, Sally covered it all. I mean, like I said, this is our baby.
Yeah.
This is why we put so much time, energy, and effort to it. We focus on those 3 things because we know that for a fact, that's where some new Amazon sellers fall apart. they either don't know how to pick the actual product, or once they do pick the product, they don't realize that they need to have certain requirements to work with certain manufacturers in order to make sure that they can scale. Because imagine you find your winning product and then all of a sudden your supplier can only do like 100 units at a time. That would be insane. So you want to be able to teach them how to properly scale this business. And that's really what we do focus on.
So you help them like with the initial questions that they have for suppliers and how many units they need to order. Do you tell them before they even start, like, hey, a successful seller usually starts around this budget, or how do
absolutely. We let them know. Even I always tell people, and I feel this so strongly, this is not a get rich quick scheme. I can't emphasize this enough. This empire for Sully and I, and even for you, Izzy, you know from your own experience, it was not built overnight. It may look like an overnight success, but we had work weeks where we've put 60, 80 hours worth of work just to figure out how to make this work. Does this product really work? Am I doing this the right way? It's not till you hit certain milestones that you're like, oh, it works. Oh, we got it from our own mistakes and errors. So even when we're working with people, I'm extremely transparent. I tell them all the time, I was like, look, this is the guarantee. This is everything that you're going to get with the program. And the biggest thing that we like to offer is we tell them, you will be an Amazon seller at the end of the 3 months. There's no denying that. You will also have sales. And the way that we've developed the strategy is so that you mitigate and reduce the amount of loss to almost nothing. So it's just a part of the program, how we really implement. You know how you're curious and you're like, oh, do you tell them how to deal with negotiations? We have templates, we have scripts, we have wording that they need to follow in order to make sure that they get the best deals possible. Like, this isn't just, oh, we're here and you're going to guess. No, I've broken it to a literal science. There are numbers, there are facts. You remove the emotional component from it, and Sully and I will be able to tell you, yes, no, you can definitely try this, or you can't. Like, we found a way to make sure that it's like, follow all these steps and you're going to hit your end goal.
Yep. And this is what I think it's so incredible about what you ladies are doing compared to all the other courses out there that are like run by men. And one way is not necessarily better than the other, but I do feel like women have a special way of connecting with other people. One, and two, we think differently. So some of the questions that you would ask a supplier, you would probably ask it differently than a man would, because we think of so many steps ahead of even asking a question. It's like you ask a question knowing that 5 questions from now you're gonna get to that. You know what I mean? We're both like, okay, I'm asking this, and this is what's happening. But it's like us women, like, we also put in our emotion, our intuitivity. There's so much. I mean, listen, I'm just gonna say this: like, women are pretty smart. Like,
we're great saleswomen, and building relationships. We're very nurturing, and I think that goes a long way. And I don't think a lot of people see that power, but once they start seeing it, they're like, wow, I'm the shit. I could really do this.
Like, why? How come this one works this way, but with another course you don't get the same? It's because you understand also the emotional part of this transition and this journey, because you're like, listen, usually when you ask suppliers this, they'll tell you this, but this is how you say it to get to the answer that you really truly want. So I think that's such a fantastic way that I myself have seen it in other courses.
Yeah, and I want to point out something that you said, Izzy. Like, one of the things that we naturally have as women is that we can be more nurturing, we can be more empathetic. A lot of the times it's very easy to even forget that you were that seller at one point. You had all those fears. You were afraid of losing your hard-earned money. So knowing that we can connect to them on that level as well, I was like, look, I knew what it was like to be broke. I knew what it was like to be dollar to dollar. And it didn't make sense for me to save. So instead, I was investing my money and trying to progress to move forward that way. Connecting with women on that level is also something very special. It teaches them, like, hey, we understand the value of $1. We know that $3, $4, $5, $6, $10,000 is a lot of money to a lot of people. To neglect that would just make you feel very disconnected from what reality is today. Some people are struggling even with just going to the gas station these days. I mean, gas prices. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, how do we fill up our tank? How do we do this? And I'm like, yeah, that's just going to show you that there will come a point in time where you hit these realizations and you can either pivot, evolve, and grow. But it does help when you have a coach who understands that you're going through this. Yes, you're afraid, but what are we going to do to get through it?
Absolutely.
That's such a good question. It's like, it's not an end, but it's like, okay, now we got to this point. What are we doing to move past it? And I think that is, again, that's that pivotal moment in people's lives, just like Sally's was when she was like, should I go on this vacation or should I invest in myself? And you could, it's so easy to pick the easy way. Like we all do it every time, the alarm rings and you snooze it. That's you giving yourself that. But every time you do that, it may feel good in a moment, but there's no delayed gratification. You know what I mean? Like we live in a world where everything is like right now, right now, right now. So what happens is we are forgetting something that's so important, that things take time to build. And just like with any habit, every time you snooze, you're really giving yourself that permission to be sloppy and not go after your goals. Because what happens into your subconscious is like, you do no longer respect yourself. And when you don't respect yourself, you don't show up for yourself. Because we see a lot of people, going from a 9-to-5 job and, answering to a boss, hey, go do this for me immediately, no questions asked. But yet when it's time to do something for yourself, you hesitate. You don't respect yourself. You don't respect yourself as you respect your boss. So that's what happens when people transition into being an entrepreneur. There's nobody else to look up to. So if you've been teaching yourself all your life that you don't respect yourself, that you're nobody that you aspire to be, then you're not going to invest in your business. Then you are going to take that money and invest it into a purse, because it's easy gratification. It's here. You feel
instant gratification.
gratification, but you don't really ever get to that point. So for the short time, it's good to kind of put yourself through those uncomfortable moments, because those uncomfortable moments is what shapes you and your future and to where you're going.
Absolutely.
That's how I see it.
That's 100%. You couldn't have said it any better.
Sometimes it's better to wait the long game, right? And you get so much more results out of that versus, getting stuff instantly. And then you don't, I feel like you're not even as grateful for it, right? But sometimes when you have hard work, you put in the time, you stay patient, the rewards are so much more rewarding. And take your time into it, especially in building a business. I mean, even sometimes we tell students, slow down, right? Because, hey, I want my products and I want this and that. But when we do things fast, we have to do them twice. That's what my mom always taught me. If you do things the lazy way, if you do things fast, you're going to end up having to go back. So do it right the first time, go slow, take your time, and then it's just so much better.
Isn't this so good? Because this is what we learned from our parents, right? I mean, this is I'm sure everybody listening to this, they have heard this. And I think I'm realizing that more and more so now with my new business, where I'm slowing down, because it's, you want to grab every opportunity out there. You want to do this and you want to do this and you want to do this. And it's like your monkey brain is like, but then it's like, slow down. Like if you invest into an Amazon course, really take the time to understand it and be part of it and see yourself as this successful Amazon seller that you are going to become. So when you put yourself in this position, instead of saying, oh, I'm just here to make a quick dollar, then those are the results that you are going to find, because you're trying to do everything fast. But if you're like, you know what, I'm going to give myself this 3 months and learn with these ladies and actually go through every step and take my time, those are the people that you see successful. If I was to pick on that.
Absolutely.
So both of you live, Myra, you live in New Jersey, and Sally, you live in Miami, right?
Correct, yes.
So how does that work as far as co-founders of this, empire? How does that work distance-wise? I know you two get together a lot, but as far as the environment that you two have created for yourself, how does that work? Because you two are two badass business women. So I want to talk a little bit about that and how powerful you are.
It's like a long-term relationship, right? So you got to make it work, right? You love the person, you're in this for life, so you got to text every day, FaceTime every day. So a lot of communication, but sometimes it's great because of the fact that because our career allows us to. It's great because Myra is always visiting. I feel like at this point every month, and soon will be permanently here.
Wow.
Um, so we made it work with the long distance, but it really is just a communication and setting up meetings, etc. I feel like at the beginning we did think that it would be, maybe a problem being so far away, but when you put in the correct systems and processes in place, it makes it so much easier, especially when you're able to come over here. I go over to Jersey, we knock out everything in 1 week. But I will say that us together is like a powerhouse. It's like if we already get so much stuff done when we're apart, when she comes into Miami, I swear we get like a year's worth done in a matter of a week. We're like, yes, the energy is just so much stronger.
And I want to point out, like, Sully and I hold ourselves accountable. Because it's one thing that we have this relationship and we have a friendship outside of the business. When I tell you that our goals align, Sully and I could literally have a conversation, say, this is where the money's going. This is what we're building next. And that's great. And we're like, agreed. And that's
that
it.
easy.
But
for the last year and a half too.
We're like so fortunate with the fact that we align with a lot of our core values. So that was number one. For Sully and I, family is extremely important. Family is everything. Building a community, providing value, giving free value. We've always said it. We're like, look, it's going to be to the point where our free stuff should be better than our paid stuff so that people just want to work with us, so that they realize the amount of knowledge and the amount of value that we want to present to you. Like, there's no hidden gems or do this today and then you open and you're like, oh, but the information's incomplete. No, we're here to give you everything that we have learned from our own journeys. And Sully and I, like we said, being apart, it's not always the easiest, but we show up for each other.
We make it work. Yep.
We communicate in advance for the week. All right, we need to get this done. These are the goals. This is where the business is moving. How do we see this projected? These are the sales calls. This is the time. How do we break up our to-dos amongst ourselves? And we do that literally like every Monday morning. Every Monday morning, we're in our meetings. We get our team together and we go right from there to hit the ground running to make sure that we remain on the exact same page. And it sounds crazy. Some people are like, oh, why do you guys touch base so often? I'm like, I feel like if we don't, we're going to operate on different things. Not that we don't prioritize the business, because literally that's what Sully and I do. That's our baby. That's our priority. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure, okay, well, at some point, Sully needs to eat. I need to eat. And if we don't have that level of communication, like, hey, what's the other one really doing right now? What are we working on? We managed to literally keep a smooth transition just by setting up objectives. So The other fun part is I am planning on moving to Miami. So hopefully this December. That's big news. I should be there. And then Sully and I will have our own little dungeon to lock ourselves away.
Absolutely.
I can't even imagine what you two are going to come up with when you're together. But I want to ask you this, and this is almost more of a personal question than anything. I've always been a sole founder. Like, I've never had partners in the business, but I've had many collaborations that I'm very happy about. But it's different when you're like, you're in, like, now you're together in this. So I know you both have run businesses independently of each other and then you met. So what I would love for you both to tell me as your friend, like, what is that like as far as a business, as like, what is it like to now do this with somebody and not have necessarily full control? I mean, it's great that you both agree on the same topics, but I'm sure you didn't always knew this about each other. So how does it compare running businesses independently and together?
So I have to say that I had so many businesses before this, and I always thought myself as the mastermind, right? And I came to the realization that I really can't do it all. And sometimes I had great ideas, but I didn't look at a different perspective of a greater idea. And that's what Myra is for me, right? So I'll think of an idea and then it's like Myra thinks of the same. You know what? I was just thinking that, but actually, I think we should do it maybe this way. That's an idea I would have never had, right? And because she's my business partner, that's why we can make things even better together. And versus before, I thought I have to have all the ideas, or maybe this is the way that I want to do it. But I realized that through collaboration, you can get way further. So that's something that I've learned a lot. That sometimes working together with someone helps you get further because there's only so many things that I can put my head into, right? If I was trying to learn how to delegate systems and, do seminars and do this, I can only do so many things at once before I drive myself mad. But now having Myra, she's able to work on different parts of the business while I work on another. And again, like I said, it just quantum leaps us forward.
Yeah. And I was going to say that I actually still have my family's wholesale business that I took over after my dad passed. So for me, that was theirs. I'm like, okay, I've made sure to grow, expand this. I know we can all live off of this business, but the idea of building something that was completely mine, that was the next step. So when I found power in collaboration with Sully, and I've always said this, I felt like I was super awkward in front of the camera. That was my thing. I was like, oh, this is weird. I'm sitting here, I'm giving advice. I'm talking to no one at the moment because you don't get it to. And then it's like people start to react. And I'm like, Sully, how do you do this? Or how do you come up with content ideas? Finding out that my areas of opportunity were X, Y, Z. And I would tell Sully and she'd be like, well, look, this is how I do X, Y, Z. This is what's going to make you better. Now I have a professional camera. I have a ring light. I have so many things that I didn't have before.
I think she's better than I am at this point. She's like, so today we're going to be talking about.
So it was beautiful to see that I had someone who not only would hold me accountable to show up and give the best version of myself, but they were also sharpening my skill set and showing me different areas of opportunity where I could improve. So that was really the beauty of the collaboration. It was like, here's a creative piece, here's the analytical piece. Bring them together, and we were able to create this.
Yep. It's like having a mentor as a business partner. I think that's what I am for Myra, and Myra is to me.
So what you're saying is it's amazing having a partner.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't say that in every situation.
No.
And I've had partners in the past. You have to align with the core value. I feel like myself and Myra are like a very rare case scenario because so many people are like, don't do business partners with your friends, don't do business partners in general, just take full profit. I think it really just depends. If you align with the core values, then I feel like to some extent it'll work out, just like a relationship, right? In a relationship, do you guys have the same core values, right? Do you guys want family, travel, fitness, etc.? Then it's going to work out. But if the core values are not there, then the empire is just going to shut down. And since we, from the beginning, worked out like that, that's why our business has succeeded the way that it has.
So where is the academy going? Like, what are you guys planning to do next? I mean, what's happening in the future? I know you're moving, Myra, in September, so I can only imagine where you guys are taking this. Can you give us a sneak peek?
So I would say one of the biggest things is that we've constantly been talking about is number one, getting into the Spanish market. Both of us are Latinas. So we know a lot of people, and we currently do have some Spanish speaking, but we would like to make an academy solely in Spanish to reach a larger audience. Second, we do want to start doing more seminars. We already hosted 2 together. So now it would be a matter of, and they were both in Chicago, so we want to expand to other cities. I think that would be great. And I think that those are mostly 2 of our main goals. And then the next one is we want to impact 1,000 people this year alone. So we are well on our way. We wrote down everything at the beginning of the year, and we've been putting in work towards that. Myra, am I missing anything that we missed?
The biggest one, and I think for me that's probably more exciting because in my household, I speak Spanish. my mama speaks Spanish. And for me, realizing that Sally and I, both being Latinas as well, and who speak Spanish, we've come to realize that other women as well from Latin American countries, or even just in the US alone, who may not necessarily dominate English, but want an opportunity to learn something new, don't have that quite yet. There isn't anything like it. So we were super excited, and we've said it, we're hoping by Q4 to really start getting our feet wet in the Spanish market. So that for me is probably the number one project that has me the most excited. And that's just because I feel like it'll give me a chance to give back even more to my roots,
Community.
traditional background. And that's the beauty of it, honestly. So I'm excited for that.
That is so beautiful. I mean, I'll tell you that, like, I have major FOMO right now, and I'm low-key super jelly that you two are gonna be in September in Miami. Literally in my head, I'm like, I need to start looking on Zillow. Like, I have
Yeah, you should.
a long time, because remember when we met, I was like dead
Yeah.
set onto moving there, and then COVID happened and
Yeah.
everything. But look where this has taken us. I mean, what you two have created, like me, continuing with Rank Bell and creating this whole new agency around NFTs. Like, it feels like we lived 10 years. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It feels like, that's why I'm like, when did I meet you ladies? Because I honestly feel like I've known you for life, but also we're so connected on social media. So every time I see you, it's just like, oh, like I'm there with them. But it's just so beautiful to see how you are really changing people's lives. And I mean it when I say this. I mean, again, I wish I would have had a lot more guidance when I first started, because everything I did, like, I mean, I'm going back to like the simple things, like, I need a social security. Like, what the hell is the social security number? Like, this is how, like, the things that I dealt with. Like, I'm new to this country. Like, it would have been great to have like a cheat sheet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not 5 years in, like, oh, I should have had this, and oh, I should have had this. And for you to be there for somebody, like, my wish and goal is that more women find you. And maybe, I don't know how you guys do your marketing, but I feel like a lot more women should know that something like this exists. Again, because men are so good, and this is something that I respect them for. They're very good at being loud. And what do I mean by that? They're very like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and then I'll figure it out later. And for us women, it's like, my head is down for like a year, and then you blend it, and it's like, okay, now it may kind of be ready, even though it's been perfect.
Oh my God.
Right? But we're like, we want it perfect before we give it out to people. So the thing is, I want more women to find you, and even men. Like, I encourage everyone to take your course.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we have men. And it's so funny because we call our community queens, like e-commerce queens, Amazon queens, and they're like, do you guys take on any kings? We're like, of course.
Yes, we're like, we take kings and queens.
We cater to everyone. And they're like, oh, okay, because we really resonate with your stories. And we just wanted to know if it was strictly for women. And we're like, no, we have men. We've taught men. We've had them be very successful and go through the exact same process. And it's awesome. And you want to know something, Izzy? I will say this. I told you from the minute that I met you, I admire you so much. Like, when I got to know you, got to know your story, your energy, your aura. So I can't tell you even just how our interaction at Powerhouse, I'm sure Sally probably felt the same. Like, it's just so eye-opening when you meet. I know you say we're badass business women, but you do the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, literally. I was like, wow. Actually, I think we talked in the bathroom. I was like, wow, I can't believe she does all of this. I'm actually honored. Like, we're honored to be here with you.
You're so sweet. Well, we also connect over the fact that we're born the same day, Sally.
So yes.
That also helped. And it's so funny because, like, every time I tell you this is like the first time, it's like, and I'm the same. I'm like, oh my God.
I forgot. He's like, same. I was like, right, because you're born the same day.
Yeah. So it's also, for me, just listening to you, Sally, specifically, I mean, me and Myra, I feel like even though we met at the same time, I feel like with Myra, maybe I had longer conversations, but at the same time with Sally, I know she's literally me. Like,
yeah, you know who I am.
It's literally me. I'm like, I don't need to ask you anything that I don't already know, because I already, like, obviously we're not the same person, but we have some
Right.
similarities, and probably being born on the same day, it helps, but it's just it gives me something to look forward in the future, like creating more partnerships and collaborations. And we were talking about maybe doing something in the future that's kind of a secret for now, but
Yes.
there's just so many amazing opportunities coming in. For those listening, like I urge you, whether it's Amazon, whether it's
Yeah.
you thinking about taking that craft class or whatever it is, like the moment is now, because it's so easy for us to say
Absolutely.
tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow. Look what happened during COVID. Like everything shut down, all your plans gone, like everything that you ever think of. So when you have an idea, like the best thing to do is, I saw that TED video the other day, and the lady's like, count to 10, like no, count down from 5, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it, go, jump, like
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Wow.
It's very hard for me to do that, because for me, I'm like, I need to think about this for exactly like 8 months and a half, like before I
Yeah.
so for me, like I need those quick fixes, and I'm trying to do that a lot more. But again, you see, like people see us and they see you too, and they see me and they're like, oh, they were just already born with being camera ready and all this. But no, like
No.
we are willing to suck for so like
So
we are, like we're just willing to put in those moments that we're uncomfortable, and we might not be perfect on camera, but yet we show up.
Yep,
Literally,
absolutely.
I said it. I was willing to fail.
Yeah.
I was willing to fall flat on my face and saying, all right, well, this failure is now a lesson, but what do I need to do to get back up and perfect it again?
Yeah.
I will never forget when we started, or even just started mentoring other people and other women to learn about Amazon. My course was on a Google Drive. I didn't even have a platform yet. And people were buying into it. And I'm like, this is crazy. But then they're going through it and they're like, yeah, you may be on a Google Drive for now. They're like, but the content and what you're providing and the value and how you teach it, they're like, is amazing.
Yep.
I was like, wow. I was like, I thought that I had to be picture perfect to get the ball rolling. And more often than not, you just have to be willing to take the first step. If you can see your first step, take it and then go from there.
That's
Absolutely.
such a beautiful reminder, because when I had Rank Bell, so Rank Bell has been rocking for like 8 years, maybe longer now.
Yeah.
But for the first 4 years, I was like on Google Doc, and when I tell people, they're like, "Wait, you don't have a CRM?" At that point, I'm like, "What the hell is a CRM?" Like, I'm sorry, what? Like a CR who? Like legit, I was like,
Yes.
no, because I don't think I ever taken the time to realize, because when I left Romania, I literally just left. I didn't have college. Like I had some like professional school, whatever, but I came here. I didn't have like this business lesson journey. It was just like the way I thought it, that's what I did. I was like, oh, let me write this on a Word document. I know what that is. And I was like, okay, blend this. And then you start rolling and you have a business, but you don't even know you're running a business. I thought,
Right.
I don't know what I was thinking. So I completely agree with you, Myra. It's like you just started, and then next thing you know, you have a full-on business.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's why I'm so like in love with what you guys are doing, because like you not only teach and you put on seminars, but you actually care. Like you're putting in your soul and your moments, like your youth and your time. And I mean, I could go on and on and on, and this can be like a love fest, but really it's so true. It's so empowering. So as far as IRL events, like when is your next in-person event?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, we are not sure as of right now. I mean, it's June right now, so I would think sometime in the fall would be a great time to start up events. I know actually last one we did was in October, so we may just go ahead and do like a year reunion to kind of see the growth of where we're at. So I think that will probably be a good time to do it.
Oh my God, that sounds beautiful. Well, let me know. I would love to come and support and be with you later.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Of course. Let's see. Where can people find you? First of all, your socials, also where they can get your course, where they can learn more about you, and maybe you have a newsletter. Let us know when your next event is, things like that.
Absolutely. So they can find us on social media. We have our Instagram. My personal one is Araceli Velasquez Official, and our Academy page, which is FBA Queens. And then Myra's.
Mine is AMZ FBA Queen. So I kept it simple, little Amazon presents, but so mine is a little longer, but that's where they can find us. FBA Queens, though, it does have all of our e-com content. Like they'll be able to see that there. It actually has the link to our website as well in the bio. So you'll see a picture of Araceli and I in the little bubble, and they could easily find us there.
Beautiful. Any other words for women who are watching this and, you know, they're considering joining? Any words of encouragement that you both have?
I would just say, just start. Literally, just as simple as just start. So, us women, we're overthinkers. We're very emotional, especially as Pisces. And we think over and over, when I have this amount of money, when I have this amount of self confidence, when I have this many social media followers, I'll start showing up as this person,
Yep.
or I'll start the business, right? I can tell you, you're never gonna be ready, right? And as long as you have that mentality, the day is never gonna come. Versus if you make the day come, you just say, hey, you know what? I don't care what's going out on the outside. I'm gonna start right now. And then the moment you make that decision, everything around you, the world will change to adjust to what it is that you're doing. So number one is just start, and then the rest will follow.
You see, this is why I say Sully and I are very much linked. But mine is literally, I was going to say, do it afraid.
Yeah.
Do it when you're afraid.
Ooh.
If you feel afraid, you feel uncomfortable, do it.
Ooh,
You'll find
just
that
like
it's so much more rewarding than when you start something from your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You'll be able to learn, and you'll really strive to make it work. So if you feel afraid, you feel unprepared, do it, and you'll learn something from it.
Oh my God, I want to get that tattoo.
Yeah.
Do it afraid. Ooh.
Go business partner, go.
Hey, you two are so incredible. I'm telling you, your FOMO. I love you both. Thank you so much for your time today. I want to do this more with you. I mean, I'm getting
Absolutely.
hearing you both speak. I'm like, I love this, and I love you both, and I cannot wait to see you soon. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the listeners, and we'll catch you guys very soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.